Guys, it's 2 a.m. Watch Entergalactic right now. That's literally what I wrote in my script. In late September, Netflix released a beautifully crafted film filled to the brim with love and care put into every frame. And Blonde. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I just know that Blonde is gonna get all the headlines and all the publicity due to all of its controversies, which I'm not saying doesn't deserve criticism, while this literal work of art gets swept under the rug, just because it came out 2 days later. Maybe it'll get buzz in the animation and Kid Cudi fandoms, but that's it. I'm filming this video a few days after its release, a few days after I stayed up past midnight to watch it, but I just have a feeling. Anyway, I'm here to tell you why you should watch Entergalactic. But first, let me have the honor to tell you what it's about. Let me just quickly say in a non-re-uploaded video that I have a Patreon now. If you like this video and want to support me more than just subscribing, you can go over, check it out, help me out if you wanna. Okay, now I can proceed. Entergalactic is about finding love and the struggles that come with it in the bustling city of New York. Jabari moves into a new apartment in Manhattan where he meets and falls in love with, you guessed it, the girl next door, Meadow. Yes, it may sound familiar, but it has some great elements that make it feel fresh. To clear up some confusion, guilty as charged, this was originally announced as a series before later being labeled as a special. They keep the various chapter cards intact, but I kinda think they could have been cut out. I mean, it's a fictional story that's feature length, so they might as well just called it a film instead, whatever. But besides that, Jabari and Meadow do have great chemistry, as well as he and his ex Carmen, whoa, and his two friends who have a ton of great interactions. Or should I say interact. So if you can't already tell by that sensational montage, this is just a wee bit inspired by Into the Spider-Verse. Hey, if I'm talking about something and Spider-Verse in the same breath, that's far from a complaint. So yeah, you may be wondering, this does look like Spider-Verse. Did Netflix leak across the Spider-Verse and not tell anyone or something? No. I kind of wish though. June could not come soon enough. But if you wanted to fix up something like it while we wait, Entergalactic is just for you. It takes place in New York, has a vibrant, dazzling color palette, dynamic lighting, 2D effects and elements like smear frames with a 3D environment and characters, experiments even further with different art styles, flourishes of on-screen text and symbols, but not onomatopoeia, has a rap hip-hop soundtrack. This is a Kid Cudi series after all. Really great use of match cuts, features FedEx product placement. I don't know why I feel the need to point this out. And has a drop frame rate where the characters are animated on 2s, maybe even 3s. Alright, let me explain. Animation 101 from someone who doesn't have an animation degree. I just love learning about this stuff, sue me. Okay, so the standard way you film anything is 24 frames a second, since it's the closest our eyes capture movement in real life. When you animate on 1s, you're creating 24 stills for each second. This makes it look fluid and lifelike. Animating on 2s means that you're creating a still for every other frame, so 12 frames a second. 3s is similar, except it's reduced to 8 frames. This is what causes that stop motion feeling, since it saves time and money. Spider-Verse will fluctuate its frame rate depending on how fast-paced the character animation in the scene is. I could also talk about 60 frames per second, but I don't really want to. Anyway, I also noticed this reflection shot that felt identical to Miles, which I thought was cool. And Jabari's even a comic artist. Come on, man. Compare all of that to Blonde, which frequently changes aspect ratios and whether or not it wants to be in color or black and white, cause, well, that's how some of the original photos were done. Like, pick a side, guys, jeez. As well as a certain transition having to do with Niagara Falls. I'm all for unique scene transitions, but no, not this one. The soundtrack for Entergalactic, it's important to reiterate because if animation content going forward is just 2D, 3D hybrids with banger soundtracks, I'm not complaining. I'm not too familiar with hip-hop and rap, except for the, Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack, and if you couldn't already tell, lo-fi, if that counts, as well as the occasional feature on a pop song. And can I just say that because of all the Spider-Verse influence, I've associated Entergalactic with the song Hide from the movie. Like, whenever I thought about the special leading up to release, I would immediately start humming this song and it would be stuck in my head for the rest of the day.
When it gets dark outside and you I confide.
My point is that I wasn't familiar with Kid Cudi at all while going into this, but I do like his songs. They might grow on me over time, and Do What I Want is kind of a bop. I do think it's really cool to have an entire feature narrative pair with your new album. I love how actual effort is put into this. They could have easily made this into some Family Guy, Rick and Morty, I don't know, clone that kind of seems to plague adult animation in the US. For the most part, that is. Most people in major companies just want to take the cheapest route possible, even at the cost of their animators and other crew members. Entergalactic, however, is a breath of fresh air. You even have quite the stacked voice cast as well, most of whom are friends of Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi voices the main character Jabari, who's actually like a really solid voice actor, let me tell you. Jessica Williams as Meadow, Timothy Chalamet and Ty Dolla $ign as Jimmy and Kai respectively, Jabari's friends who, like I said, have great interactions and funny moments.
Vibes up, you know what I mean?
Dude, you alright?
Yeah. I was just blown away by Barry's bitch assness.
They have very believable dialogue as well as some conversations that can be surprisingly insightful. Vanessa Hudgens is Karina, Meadow's friend. Jaden Smith shows up for like 2 seconds, and so do freaking Keith David and Macaulay Culkin. I wish the last two had more screen time, though that could be because I have an attachment to previous characters they played. Who's to say? Seriously though, Keith David's character is Mr. Rager, a 2D debonair guy who has a shadow counterpart. Like, bruh. Just look at his character design. It's great. It just oozes a slick vocal performance, perfect for someone like him. While he doesn't talk that much, Mr. Rager does have expressive character animation that I can't not gush over. It makes me wish he had a series of his own. But if I did have to point out some flaws, it'd be that I kind of wish Meadow and Jabari met earlier. Like, they have some close encounters, but they don't officially introduce each other until 30 minutes in. And the movie's an hour and a half. Though to be fair, this time is spent with Jabari meeting his previously mentioned ex as they seem to rekindle their relationship, which leads to later plot points to develop later on in the film. Now this other part is kind of spoilery, but I'm gonna keep it vague. It's actually a similar issue I found in another 2022 movie I cannot shut up about. The Batman. This movie's gonna be the death of me for fork's sake. Basically, a character finds out that another character has done something that doesn't quite align with their perception of them, nor the audience's. They deal with that conflict for a little bit, but then it's resolved and or explained rather quickly. I just wish they spent more time on that mystery part, making us wonder if they actually did do it, you know? But I seriously want to go back to the animation because holy crap. I want to eat these colors, for crying out loud. Just about every shot is bathed in one beautiful hue or another. There's always something to appreciate in every frame. A visual gag, a verbal gag.
Oh, I always wear a helmet. Safety first, bro.
A background. The way lighting reflects off characters with different colors. A hand gesture. Just overall body language. A match cut. God, I love them. A mirror shot, anything. Like, they've really hired experienced cinematographers, animators, editors, background artists, you name it, for this. Fellas, is it legal to use transportation in a busy urban area while high? So can I just mention that I want to move into Jabari and Meadow's apartment complex? The layout of them is great, and Meadow even has her own dark room. Oh, there's this other detail I like where a co-worker of Jabari gives him a Japanese worry plant. Tried looking it up and it apparently doesn't exist. Okay. But in the scene that follows, it blooms as he tries to work on his comic. Keyword tries here, reaching basically nothing but dead ends. But when he and Meadow's relationship flourishes, it wilts since he's beginning to see success in his life. There's this one cool trippy dream sequence where Jabari is being chased by a gigantic Mr. Rager on the hunt to kill him. The world has transformed into a monotone metropolis with touches of red as Jabari runs, or bikes, I guess, for his life. That car flying over his head, leaving a crimson trail behind, is so sick. Oh my gosh, it's really fun to watch. Then Dr. Facilier comes in, skadooshes the big, mean, and scary Rager, says a couple lines, then dips. Despite this, I feel like there's going to be someone who argues that scenes like these are a part of nothing but a feature-length music video. But who cares? While I won't deny that scenes like these would make for some good MVs, it has an overarching, not to mention engaging, romantic plotline that ties it all together. What I'm trying to say is that we need to be focusing on original, worthwhile content. We need more Entergalactics, innovative passion projects that push the boundary for what adult animation let alone animation in general, can do. If you are willing to guide it, to nurture it, to believe in it, we can make animation break the stigma that it's just for kids in the West, which is something I want to do with my channel now. A stepping stone, if you will, for people who want to explore the limitless possibilities and experience the rich, complex emotions that come with animated works like these, both in and out of the States. But if we keep engaging with blonde for much longer, then we're gonna get more blonde. Pretentious, overblown, hollow films about real people who do nothing but suffer for 3 hours, where they get guilt tripped by their pro-life CGI talking fetus, among other things. I'm sure it will go on to win many awards, while Entergalactic will be lucky enough to get a measly Best Animated Feature nomination from the Academy, if at all. But I will give Blonde this. Ana de Armas is pretty great as Norma Jean. Some of the cinematography is good, and because of the discourse surrounding the movie, I've learned more accurate information about her in the past couple weeks, more than I have my entire life. In other words, by the great and wise Jay Sherman, if the movie stinks, just don't go. I mean stream. So yeah, check Entergalactic out. It deserves it. If you want more experimental animation, then do everything you can to support it. That's why I'm making this video after all, to get the word out. If you do watch it, let me know if you liked it. If you wanna... I hope I did my job of convincing you. Like I said in the beginning, if you did enjoy this video, please comment, like, subscribe, and join my Patreon to support me, and I'll see you later.